G'day, Jason Darcy here. So today we're doing a video on shoulder impingement. So I've actually had a client that I've been treating the last 2 weeks, and she presented with, so when we were testing her range of motion, as she was coming up, she was sort of feeling a bit of a pinching sort of sensation through the top here. She couldn't really pinpoint it. And then coming out to the side also, she'd get to about here and start to feel it, but it'd come a bit more around the front. And so, yeah, I was just going to show you sort of how we addressed that, because we got some really good relief with her. First, we focused on sort of through the front of the shoulder, and then when she came in this week, she had a bit more sensation down the back of the arm, so we addressed the back of the shoulder this week. So we're going to start off just getting Darcy seated to start with. So what I like to do is just take some tone out of the upper traps, because we could see on this particular client when she came in that there was quite a lot of tone in the traps. And I just like to sort of start with this area because it's a good way to sort of introduce yourself and warm the area up. But you can also, if the traps are really tight, they can sort of hike that shoulder up, which decreases the amount of space that you have in this shoulder. So when you're coming up into flexion, there's not quite the room through there. So that's where you can get some of that pinching sort of sensation. So we're just starting with a broad sort of knuckle stroke through there. Might have to get a bit more wax on the knuckles. Yeah, this one can feel really good to start with. Just taking a lot of tension out of there.
Yeah, it does.
And so, yeah, when I actually treated this the first time, we actually retested after just doing the upper traps, and she had a lot of improvement through both ranges of motion, which was a really good sign. So I'll just take you through the process that I went through with that client.
Oh,
So upper traps are a big one that a lot of people hold a lot of stress and tension in. They're quite commonly sort of overactive in modern day posture, where you're sort of sitting at a desk around it or looking at your phone, that type of thing. People, when it starts to get cold here in Melbourne at the moment in winter, so you start to lift your shoulders up a little bit more, and the shoulders are getting closer to the ears, that type of thing. So yeah, it's just something to take note of. So once we've done a few warm-up strokes, we can actually get the knuckle or get the thumb back in there now, so we can target it a little bit more. So pinpoint. And you can feel on Darth there's a nice little nugget in there, which just feels like a hard ball of tissue. So this is sort of where that levator scapula and that upper trap sort of cross over and intersect, and that's quite common for people that have pain or tightness in this area, that ball becomes a bit more pronounced. So you can really feel it sort of stick out, and quite commonly people say, I can really feel it in there myself, and I'll try and massage it and treat it or stretch it. But yeah, they just don't have the enough strength on their own body to release it. So
that's good.
So we're working through there. We can even start to get a little bit dynamic, so we can get Darcy to just slowly rotate his head, moving around, just all sort of ranges. And then we can actually get him to also start to do some shoulder, just slowly coming up out in front, just feeling how it's moving through there, and just to there, and then back down. So we just started with where she was in her comfortable range, where she didn't get any pain, but it was also just a bit of feedback for me, like how it was feeling when the shoulder was moving. Because some people, when they do have a really overactive trap, you can see the shoulder hikes first. So it actually lifts up like this before they actually start to engage, which really limits the amount of space you've got in there, and that you sort of lose that scapular humeral rhythm, where you want the scap to slide out around here as you're flexing up. Where if you just sort of hike, then there's nowhere else to go, and that scap sort of stuck there. So that's why I also get a bit of dynamic through the shoulder, so I can see how it's functioning while we're sort of treating there as well.
Oh, it's really good.
So we're working through here. Staying connected. We can also start to get a little bit more into like supraspinatus as well, so which is a bit more just behind the trap. So we want to locate, come around here, Leo. So we're trying to locate that scap bone here, so the spine of the scap, which is here on Darcy, and the supra just runs just above it and comes out into the shoulder there. So we want to really pinpoint like that point in the shoulder, so here, and then we're just going to just trace along there. So that's the other reason I like to do the upper traps first, because if you try and go straight to this, those traps can be really tight and sort of covering that area, so you can't get into it effectively.
Yeah.
So now we can really pinpoint that supra.
It's good.
And supra is responsible for abduction of the shoulder, so the movement coming out to the side here.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a really good one to release if you are getting that sort of pinching sensation when you're abducting the shoulder.
People can be complaining of that bursitis as well, and the supraspinatus tendon running through that
That's right,
space.
yeah. That subacromial space, I think it's called.
That's it.
Yes. Anatomy. There you go.
Really tender, but feels really good. Oh, it's
There. All right. And so one thing I actually forgot that we did, we actually got her to lie on her side next. So head up this way, Darcy. And then just pop that one under your knee there. You can straighten out your bottom leg if you need.
Yep.
So yeah, her lat was quite tight as well, which we found. So this was just another way, because our lat pulls us into extension and internal rotation. So when we're coming up out in front, that can sort of, again, limit our range of motion and start to make these muscles sort of overwork and cause a bit of extra tension through the shoulder. So we just want to cradle the arm, let the arm relax there, Darcy. So just starting in the meaty part of this lat. And yeah, we found this was quite tight on her. So we're just sinking in and just holding some pressure there.
Oh, that's good.
So we just started where the arm was nice and relaxed.
Yep.
So that trap didn't have any sort of tension through there. Sorry, that lat.
Yep. Oh.
It's just a nice, slow, connected stroke here. And then we just started to slowly expand, see how the arm moved. Bit of dynamic, but nothing too major. So we're trying to just stay within her pain threshold. We didn't want to re-aggravate or reproduce any pain when moving the shoulder here.
Where you are there is good on me. Yeah.
That spot there,
yeah. Oh. Oh.
Yeah, so this can be quite a forgotten spot with a lot of people with shoulder pain. They focus on the pecs, bicep tendon, upper traps. But yeah, the lats have such a big role on the shoulder and the function of the shoulder. So if you have had long-term shoulder pain and it hasn't corrected with the practitioners that you're seeing, it might be that you're missing out on your lats and this sort of area through here, like your serratus as well. Bit of teres major and minor as we're working under here as well. So these areas can have a big influence on how that shoulder functions.
Oh. Oh. That's good. Oh. I swam last night and I reckon...
Oh, did ya? Das.
Had my yearly swim.
Yeah, I was going to say, other than Joshy, we're not really swimmers here at MMT, are we? Ninja and I are both drowners and sinkers.
Doggy paddlers.
Don't float too well, so yeah, we're more land creatures. I think Aaron used to be quite a good swimmer, he said, or he could swim.
Yeah, maybe. Oh.
Yeah, you won't see me in a swimming race anytime soon, I'll tell you that. So we work through this lat. And for video's sake, I'm just going to leave it there for the lat treatment. So we retested after I treated the upper traps and the lat, and she found that the flexion movement was a lot better, but abduction still had a bit of that sort of pinching through the front. So then we rolled over, and now we can actually start to work through the front here. So it was actually more through this sort of bicep tendon and deltoid region. So that's where I wanted to start with her. So I really connected in. So just with my palm to that front of the shoulder. And so I'm not moving straight away. I'm just sort of sinking down and almost like trying to mobilize the shoulder here and just sort of push it back, particularly if people are rounded into that posture through the front here. This can just feel a nice way to just connect with those tendons, but also that shoulder and start to get some mobilization there. So it's just holding pressure, and it can be pretty sensitive in these areas here.
Yeah.
Our man Darcy does quite a lot of upper body work, so I'm sure he's got a couple of bicep curls in before this video.
Yeah, just 10. That's
Just
it.
10
Woke up
on
like
the 30
this.
kgs, or?
Nah. Oh, it's good, man.
Yeah, so now we're just slowly starting to work our way down, but just staying really connected, really slow. These tendons here can be quite ropey, so you can really, like, if you're going too fast, you can flick over them, which can be quite uncomfortable. Sometimes it feels nice to sort of slowly roll over and flick between them, but if someone's super sensitive in here, we don't want to, flick too much over them, because it can be quite uncomfortable. So, slowly working there. Yeah, this one felt super tight on my client that I was working with, so we were just slowly targeting this area and just staying with her pain threshold. So whether that was sort of that productive pain level where we're a 6, 7 out of 10, we didn't want to go into too much discomfort. We wanted it to be that productive pain level. But yeah, there were times where we found some pretty sharp and nasty points. So at those times, we just sort of hold it for a little bit, but we don't want that the whole session being traumatic and too overbearing. Otherwise, we're not going to get that best result. You will still decrease some of the pain sensation, but if they're fighting and really challenging, or it's a challenging session the whole time, then yeah, they're going to leave that session feeling a bit sore, feeling a bit tender. Which is all right sometimes, but we don't want that whole session being that where they're walking away, feeling as tender as when they walked in. So now we've just moved out a little bit wider. So my first connection was about here, and I worked down that real medial line. Now we're just sort of working a little bit more lateral. We're still just staying connected. I can reinforce if I need to put a bit of extra pressure through there. And we're working the whole way down here. As we know, our bicep crosses over into the forearm, so just below the elbow here. So it's good to work that whole way down. There's tension down in the bottom, distal part of the muscle can still influence up at the top of the shoulder there. So now shuffling out a bit wider again. So we're now more into like that deltoid. And this is where she felt a lot of where her pain still was when she was coming into abduction. So this is where that supra tendon also comes out and attaches right at that point of that shoulder. So this bone out here, that's where that tendon comes into. So if you are rounded and hiked, that spot's going to get quite tender and sore.
Oh, jeez Louise. It's good. I copped a corky on this shoulder. Just
did you?
bumping someone on the weekend. I can feel it. Needed to be rubbed out. It's Wednesday. It's 5 days after, so it's good.
Good time.
4.5 days.
So working through those deltoid fibres. Palm, and then to get a bit more specific, I did a few more, but for this video we're just going to speed up, then we can actually really pinpoint it. So we can get the thumb, and then what I just slowly did as well was start to get a little bit of passive movement. So we're trying to get Darcy to stay as relaxed, and I'm just bringing it up there and slowly back down. And just getting some movement. We can even rotate the shoulder a little bit. And again, just feeling for where some tendons might be bunched up in there. And then we can just pin and start to work it down. So we did that. We retested and she felt really good. We still had a couple of minutes. So to finish off with, I just wanted to test and check how her like Pec Minor and this sort of subscap area were. because that again can contribute to sort of pulling that posture inward. So I just sort of wanted to check a little bit through this Pec Minor.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. But no, it was a really good result that we'd already decreased a lot of her pain when she was going through the test that we did at the start. So yeah, she was quite happy and quite blown away that there was such a quick decrease in pain and symptoms. And that's sort of the benefit of, if you're a practitioner out there, always like retesting your work. So not getting towards the end of the session and going, testing, and then yes, it might have changed, but do you know what part of that treatment changed it? So that was why I was retesting after each time I treated the upper trap. We retested, it got better, but there was sort of pain in one spot. Okay, we treated the lat, retested, yep, felt better, but there was still a little bit of pain through the front of the shoulder. Retested after we did the bicep tendon and the deltoid, felt better in both ranges of motion. And then from there we can sort of just use our our knowledge of the body and start to look what else might be going on in there. So that's why I went to this area. But then we found when she came back next week, or this week, a lot of the pain through the front of the shoulder, the movements out in front, and the abduction were good. It was only when she started to do horizontal that she started to feel some pain through the back. So that's where we changed up our tact.
Yep. Always learning.
Always learning.
Puzzle solving.
So we pinned Pec Minor in there, and then we finished off with a little bit of subscap. So sinking in, pads of the fingers. Which can be quite tender through here.
Yep. It's good. My shoulder's going to feel better. It already does. It already is feeling so much better. I can feel the relief. Just from feeling a bit tight from, general stuff, knocks in footy, swimming and
Training.
gym and treating. You don't have to.
It's hard to maintain a body like this, isn't it, Darcy?
Well, you don't have to have an injury to get treatment.
No, that's right.
Do it before it, prevent it. Get your shoulder mechanics moving the way that they're designed to do, and you'll perform better.
Right, and we'll come out of there. So there it is, guys. There's how we deal with shoulder impingement. So just a bit of a case study that I did with one of my clients. Thank you. See you next time.